Hi, and welcome back to Examining Medicine from Traditional to Alternative and Beyond. I am your host, Dr. Franchelle Hamilton, and I'm excited for our guest today. She has a master's degree in mental health, and she is here to talk about how we can transform our health by changing our everyday. I am here with Ahsley Parker, CEO of A Splash of Ash. Welcome to the show, Ashley. Thank you for coming.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am so stoked to just jump into this conversation.
No, I think it's great. And I wanted you because you're the expert, and I've read the profile on essentially how our everyday habits can change our life. And I wanted you to kind of give your perspective on this and talk about how you got into this because everybody knows, predominantly do weight loss. But even with my weight loss patients, I'm always like, it's something you're doing every day. Like, what are you doing every day? Like, we just need to kind of tweak your habits. So, first of all, how did you kind of come to your own realization of that?
Yeah, so this is kind of what I founded, a splash of ash on. In your intro, you said it perfectly. I got my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and it was during my clinicals where I was working with real people with real struggles and real life challenges that I realized for me to be wearing the therapist hat, it just wasn't lighting my soul up like I really thought it was. And that was a scary realization
Yeah.
while you're in your
Yep.
school. So COVID hit and I am, still treating my clients and we're doing it over Zoom because we're not allowed to go into the office. And I was quarantined
Yep.
with my family in Naples, Florida, and it was there that I really had to do some soul searching and look at myself in the mirror and say, I could either graduate and just do what I'm supposed to do, go on and get my license. It takes another 2 years after I graduate for that, or I could pivot and I could do something different and get outside my comfort zone and try something a little bit new and a little bit
Yeah.
freaking scary. So that's what I did. And it was with the support of my family around me. So I could do that. And I started a YouTube channel. No, you cannot see those videos. There's only 3 up there. And I think they're down now. So no one can see them. And I had someone reach out to me and say, hey, like, what are you doing? What's your vision for Splash of Ash? So I was like, dang, what is my vision, for Splash of Ash? What do I want to do? And I love connecting with people. It's people like you that I get to connect with every single day and lift up and your
Yep.
audience lift up and empower. And so I was like, you know what? People right now during COVID and during quarantine need the little things. They need to focus on the little things in
Yeah.
their lives that they can control. What makes them happy, what makes them feel good.
Yep.
And so that's how change your everyday, change your life came about because we're stuck in our house, right? We're some of us were stuck by ourselves. Not we didn't have anyone, didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So how can we create happiness and joy without going and doing big things and events and vacations and just
Yeah.
the everyday things, right? So I'm like, you know what? We can create joy and we can create happiness and we can create change
Yeah.
in our lives by the little things that we do every single day, right? The things we do matter. And I know you're huge on that,
Mm.
especially with weight loss. You have to be, right? What can we control in this
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
to get us to where we want to go and who we
Correct.
want to be for our future self?
Yeah. No, I think you said that perfect. And I commend you for pivoting because I think everybody essentially that I have on this show and this podcast, like the same thing happened to them. Like we're innovators, we're creating our own changes. We're seeing things that we don't necessarily like or agree with. And we're like, I think there may be a better way to kind of solve this problem or help other people. And so I love that you took that leap. I think at some point we all did. I did, where I made the pivot that I'm like, just doing surgery on patients for weight is not enough. Like, I'm going to get burnt out, like,
Yeah.
and where we can see a bigger picture. And
Mm,
so I love that idea where it kind of birthed in the pandemic. But to be honest, this concept, this idea, I think can be related, pandemic or no pandemic. I think actually so many things that we will be seeing birthed from the pandemic, but in general, it can help on so many levels. So, what are some things that you noticed during this time, during almost like your own self reflection, that was able to be changed regularly in order to make you more fulfilled and joyful and transformed and all that stuff? What were things that you noticed?
So I noticed for me when I didn't have a routine and I didn't have a time I had to get up to go into the office or do certain things, I
Yeah.
felt like I have this phrase that I use, and I say my brain is jumbled. And to me, that is my way of saying I feel like overwhelmed. I feel a little chaotic. I don't feel grounded and centered in who I am. Right. And so it
Yeah.
was, I'm a routines person, but I almost didn't really even realize that I'm a routines person as I just went about my everyday. But it was when like the world freaking stopped that I was
Yeah.
like, dang, like I need structure. I
Yeah.
need that routine. And it just helps me be the best me. And so I would get up
Yeah.
and I started to create a little morning routine. And I'm a huge believer in a morning routine, right? The things we do matter, the big
Okay.
things, the
Good.
small things, and everything in between. So my morning routine sets me up to have a successful and productive and a feel good day. And so my morning routine is simple, but I literally get out of bed and coffee is my like piece of heaven. Like I cheers to everyone who's listening to this and they need a sip of coffee, grab it, baby. So I drink my coffee, and that is when I practice my gratitude. I'm a huge believer in
Okay.
gratitude. When we can
Good. Me
look,
too.
yes, when we can look at life through a lens of gratitude, you are going to see it so different. And
Yep.
so I drink my coffee, I practice my gratitude, I think of things that make me freaking happy, and it can be simple, right? It doesn't have to be these huge
Yeah.
things. It can literally be my iced coffee made me smile this morning, right? And I find gratitude and joy and peace
Yeah.
in that right now, right? I live in Florida, so
Yeah.
the palm trees for me when I walk to work, they make me
Yeah.
smile. It's the little things that can just oof, right? That made me feel like that little moment right there made me
Yeah.
feel good. So a huge believer in gratitude.
Yeah.
I then go and I make my
Good.
bed. I make Making your bed just does something different for me, right? It not only makes my room feel like clean and
Yeah.
crisp
That's
and good,
interesting.
but if there is
Yeah.
only one productive thing that you do throughout the day, let it be just making your bed, right? We all have those days where we just it's
Yeah.
hard to get out of bed. It's hard to round your kids up and take them to school. So if you did one productive thing, let it be
Yeah.
first thing in the morning. So I make my bed, and then
Yeah.
the last piece of my
Good.
morning routine is my skincare routine. I wash off my maybe crappy night's sleep. I wash off my night before. Like it's just makes me feel good and it sets the tone for my day. So those are four simple things that I do for
Okay.
my morning routine and it sets me up for my day. Sometimes I need to incorporate a
Yeah.
little bit more, right? Like sometimes when you wake up and you're feeling like, oof, I don't know how I'm going to get through today, but I have to because I have a big day ahead of me. I have to spend a little bit more time with myself,
Yeah.
right? I have to get out a pen and a paper and
Good.
write down how I'm feeling, right? I really need to check in with myself, my body, my mind, and my heart, right? What do I need
Yeah.
today? So this is the foundation of my morning routine and I can build from there. So this is one thing that I
Yeah.
really noticed helps
Okay.
me to feel good and feel grounded.
I like this. So let me kind of um, reverberate what I hear you saying.
Yes.
So in the morning, you get up, you nourish yourself, you're thankful, you feel like you're being productive, and you almost like cleanse.
Yes.
That's essentially the things that you're doing. I like the way you described it because these are all things that we all need on a regular every day. right? And those are actually four, and I don't even know if you purposely set it up that way, but those are four distinct areas that everybody needs to do every day. You need to
Yes,
nourish yourself somehow, right? For you, it's coffee. Different people, it's different things, right? It could even
exactly.
be like
Avocado
a
toast.
nourishment could be some type of movement, some type of exercise, whatever. And then you were thankful, right? Gratitude. You felt like you did something. You were productive. And I like that you said, because making a bed is relatively easy. I
Right?
actually don't do that hardly ever, ever. You know what I'm saying? But that is a great routine because it really is easy to do, right? And you're like, if you can't even do anything for the day, at least you've made your bed. You feel like you've done something. So
Mm,
productivity. And then the fact that you're like, I want to make myself feel good. So I cleanse in whatever way people do that. Some people may do yoga, some people
yes.
may like to soak in a bath, some people, you know what I'm saying? But to
Yes.
kind of wash away the old, we're starting a new day and I'm ready to go. So I really like that, the way you kind of worded that. So is this what you essentially are saying to the audience and to your own clients and patients on what they need to do and just focus on those things?
100%. And
Yeah.
I love the way that you broke that down with
Yeah.
nourishing and cleansing and productivity, right? And
Yeah.
the point is to find something that works for you. So I love
Yeah.
how you're taking what I do and you're really, giving it to your audience in a way that's like, hey, if yoga works for you in the morning, do it, right? If
Mm.
if coffee makes you feel crappy, lemon water, right? Like we have to tune
Mhm.
into the choices that we're making. We have to tune into how those choices are making us feel. And once we can do that, then
Yeah.
we can really begin to make better choices, right? We have choices in front of us every single
Yeah.
day. And the choices that we make, right? The habits and the rituals and the routines that we engage in every single day are really a product of how happy we are, right? How in shape we are, how successful we
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
or the relationships we have, how good are they? It's a product of our choices and it's a product of the
Yeah.
things that we do every day. So start small, start with your morning routine, right? And
Yeah.
do one thing. If you don't have a morning routine
Yeah.
and your life feels chaotic and you got kids and right, you got work and there's a lot on your plate right now, do one thing. And if you have to wake up 10 minutes earlier, and
Yeah.
that's what it is for the next 30 days, I want you to set your alarm for 10 minutes earlier and commit to that and get some quiet time for you. And it can literally be 10 minutes of quiet
Yeah.
time for you. Let that be the foundation for your morning routine. Let that be the foundation for the change that you're looking for in your life, and let that be the
Yeah.
foundation to the start of
Yeah.
of of a new you, of that future you that you're striving for
Yeah.
every day. Start there. Just start small and do something. Really, that's it. Just do something, commit to it. It's the choices that we make that are so dang important.
Yeah, I agree. And is that what so you recommend? It's funny because for me in weight loss, we kind of I say the same thing. Start with something small, walk 15 minutes a day or give up soda. Just, of all these like habits that we formed, right? Because we form bad habits, right?
Yes.
And sometimes I don't know if you feel that this way, but it may just be giving up a bad habit like not sleeping until noon. How about you not sleep until noon? Or, you know what I'm saying, for whatever
Yes.
it is. And that is, by giving up a bad habit, that's a habit.
100%.
Anyways, and so I like the fact, because I never thought about it in terms of starting your morning with it. And when you were talking, I was thinking the same thing, because I start my morning, if it's similar in the sense, I give gratitude. Thank you for waking me up. It's a beautiful day. Whatever, you know what I'm saying, just obviously recognizing the positive to kind of help start your day. And I've noticed the few times when I've worked over or whatever the case and I didn't start that way, I was like, felt sluggish or just kind of throughout the whole day. Versus when I start my day like that, even if I have bad times throughout the day, because that's going to happen. Somebody will cut
Yes.
you off in traffic. You'll lose something. It happens, right, to everybody. But even if you start your day off with gratitude, it almost like makes that bad or that negative or whatever happens to you easier to deal with. So I like the fact that you're saying do it in the morning, because I think you're right. In my practice, I usually kind of focus on more of their daily, kind of habits, but starting it off the morning. And have you found that that's kind of one of the biggest things for you, is just the morning routine, so to speak? I like that.
Yes, I love what you are saying about
Yeah.
when we focus on the good in the morning, when we intentionally shift our
Mhm.
mindset to the positive
Yep.
throughout our day, those little moments where people piss us off, right? Somebody in the
Yep.
grocery store is grumpy and they're trying to get into our energy and we're like, not today,
Yep.
because you know what? I'm choosing to focus on the good, right? We have a choice in everything that we do, but 100% when we
Yep.
intentionally and consciously focus on the good in the morning
Yep.
and practice our gratitude and a side tangent really quick because I was just thinking about this. If gratitude in the morning
No, that's
feels
okay.
if gratitude in the morning feels a little, I don't know, like cliche, right? Everybody says practice gratitude. Something else that I have been trying to do in the mornings when I feel like, all right, gratitude, yes, thankful, yes. I send light and love to the people that I love and the people that I care about. So what I mean by this is I close my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in energy. I close my eyes and I connect to the present moment, right? My feet are on the ground. I'm here and now, and I'm sitting in my chair, right? And I
Yeah.
think about the people that I love and the people that I care about and the people that I want to send like just good things to, some awesomeness to. And I think about them. I picture them in my mind. I bring
Yeah.
up their whole face, right? And I go, you know what? I want my mom to have
Yeah.
a freaking awesome day today. I'm going to send her love and light, right? I want my best friend who's in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania right now to have a killer day. And I'm going to send her love and light. That's another really awesome way to just start your
Yeah.
day and to practice that gratitude and that
Yeah.
feel goods and that positivity. So that's another just good way to
Yeah.
just start your day. And yes, when we focus on the good in the morning, it gets really hard to knock us down throughout the day. I promise you that. And when we start to
Yeah.
feel like this day is long, right? I'm getting emails. I'm like, bosses on my, tail end today. This is a hard day. We're able to still see the good through that, right? Maybe you get a crappy email from your boss, but you're able
Yeah.
to say, you know what, today's been really hard, but I'm a dang good employee still, right? I work hard. I am good at my
Yeah.
job. Today is harder, but I am okay, right? So we're able to do that
Yeah.
way more
Yeah.
frequently and way more often and easier when we start our day on a positive note.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I agree. So I agree with you 100%, but I've got to throw a question at you. For
Yes.
people who don't feel like it,
Mm.
they are in a down period now, they've lost their job or they've gotten a divorce or, whatever the case may be, and they just don't feel like it. What do you do for those people? Maybe the people who need it most, that's just like, I can't, or I just can't. What do you say to them?
I love this question. And I was thinking about this very question when I was working out last night after work. It it is easy to get up in the morning when you feel good and practice gratitude, right? It's easy. You're like,
Yeah.
today's a freaking good day. I'm feeling good. Practice gratitude. I'm going to send my family and my friends love and light. Today's a good day, right? On the days when
Yeah.
you don't feel good, it's freaking hard. And I'm not going to pretend like it's easy, right? I'm not going to pretend like
Yeah.
when we're in a season of life that is challenging and that we feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel and we just feel like are just everything is hard. And how can we choose good when we don't feel good, right? When everything around us is crumbling,
Yeah,
how can I
exactly.
choose the good, right? Gosh, life can be so hard. And if you're listening to this and you're going through this, gosh, I'm sending you some serious love and light and gratitude. You are here, you are listening to this uplifting
Yeah.
podcast. Keep going, keep moving
Yeah.
forward, but it's hard. So it's on those very days that it's hard. It's in those seasons of life that this matters most. And I know it sounds cliche,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
it's when it matters most. But this is also why it becomes that much more important to stick to your morning routine on the days you feel good. Because if we can be consistent and intentional on the days we feel good, we are, I bet you that you are able to engage in your morning routine and those good habits and the good things even when you don't feel good, right? That's why we're trying to create these habits. Commit to it on the days you
Yeah,
feel good.
correct.
So then on the days where you don't feel so good, you're able to push through it a little bit harder. You're able to make that choice and say, you know what? I know on the good days this makes me feel good. So I'm going to continue to do it today, even though it's hard and even though I don't want to. I know it will make me show up in the world in my
Yeah.
magic and in my light. So I'm going to choose to do it right now, even though I don't want to. It's in those moments that it matters most.
Yeah.
And we always have a choice, even in the
Yeah.
sucky moments, right? Even in the seasons of life that are so hard, we have a choice then too. And sometimes we have to
Correct.
just keep
And
pushing.
they need to choose.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
we need to
I
choose
agree.
the
I
good.
agree. And
Yeah.
I like choose the good and the fact that you said if you can just do one thing, right?
One
Like
thing.
you may not feel like doing your whole four, for example. Like you have four in the morning. Some people have it different things throughout the day. You may not feel like doing all of them, right? There's days where I don't want to come home and cook. There's days where I last night, like you had mentioned, I didn't want to work out and I'm a workout freak. I didn't want to work out. So I went walk with my daughter. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? We just
Yes.
walked around the neighborhood because I didn't feel like working out like hard, you know? And
Yes.
so it's choosing potentially an alternative and choosing to at least do one thing, you know, and don't feel obligated to have to do what you normally do when you have your good days, you know? But you're right, it's about forming those habits. And I 100% agree that when on your in your hard times and your low times, because everybody has them, like it's much easier at least to kind of push through when you've already formed those habits, which is why transforming your life, your health depends on what you do in your everyday habits.
Mm.
So
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another little tip, I guess I will say to answer this question is to to find your why.
Yeah.
So why are you getting up and 30 minutes earlier, right? What, like,
Yeah.
who are you fighting for? What are you fighting for?
Yeah.
Is it because you want a better relationship with your spouse? Is it because you want a better relationship with your kids? Is it because you want to feel better in your body? Right? Like, what are we
Yeah.
fighting for? Why are we trying to create these habits? What does that version of you that you were fighting for look like? I want you to get so clear on that version of you so that on the days when you don't feel like it, you can go back to your why and go, you know what? Cuz I want that me, right? I want that life, that version of me. I want
Yeah.
to get there. So I'm choosing to fight for her or for him, right? So get really clear on who you
Yeah.
want to be and how you want to show up and what you want to do, right? All that good stuff. Get really clear because in the moments that suck, you're going to continue to fight for that you. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. No, it's clear. I understood, and I'm sure the audience understood it. Thank you so much for these tidbits. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Splash of Ash, guys, go check her out. She's great. She has so much energy. This conversation was so much fun. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.